We're going to have a look today at Bushbuck Destroyer. So that's what's on the back at the moment. We'll find somewhere without too much noise and we'll go and have a wee chat about it. Well, g'day. We're here today and we're going to talk about this pack, which is the Bushbuck Destroyer. It's an 85 litre pack, plus an additional 5 litres in the top pocket. I've had it now for a couple of months and it seems to be a jolly good pack. No problems at all with it, apart from one, which we'll talk about later. It's a well designed pack. We'll talk about some of the quality issues perhaps later on, but we'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. So it's meant to be an expedition type sort of pack for multiple days. It's meant to be conformable for modern hunting, in that it'll take your rifle and a scabbard on the back, it'll take a tripod, it'll take a spotting scope, a lot of the things that guys are carrying now, especially on longer trips. So it's been well designed from that aspect. So if I start at the top and work down, there's a 5 litre pocket in the top here, which you can put all your bits and pieces into, no problems there. Perhaps the aperture here is a little bit small, but that's also an advantage in that it's less likely that things are going to fall out. So there's a bit of a what I call a dam here to stop things falling out if you forget to zip it up, which is a good thing. On the first iteration of the pack that I got, this section here, on the back, where the bladder comes through, the stitching actually gave out, and to Bushbuck's credit they sent me out a new one. So this one's had one strap pull off on a 4-day alpine trip, but other than that it's held up reasonably well. Okay, so on the top, that can come off completely. There's a drawstring top. You can flick these compression straps here to compress down a load inside the pack quite well, or you can close it up completely, so you could use it, roll it down and use it as a pack without the top cover. There's a strap which comes over, another compression strap comes over the top of that, which is quite handy. And at the back there's 2 more compression straps as well. That sort of comes into its box of tricks a little bit further down the track. So compression straps across the front, zip all the way down the front for access, or you can access it from the top, whichever you prefer. Be interesting to see how long that zip lasts. If that gives way, like a lot of modern packs, hunting packs, they have this sort of front opening compartment. It's not the best for keeping water out, but I suppose you can just keep things in a big plastic bag or one of the roll top waterproof bags anyway, so that's really not too big an issue. There is another set of little tabs down the front here for tying things on. It would have been a good idea for them to have put 2 more toggles like this, or 2 more snaps in there and there, and then that would have allowed the top to be cinched down properly. Ends up being a bit loose with it here. On the top there's somewhere you can put your tripod legs into here, and of course they can be held in place with the front compression straps. So those 2 compression straps with the tripod, somewhere to put the legs. There's a compression strap across the side here as well. In the bottom there's room for a full-size sleeping bag. Perhaps I can get my sleeping bag and a bivvy bag in here, no problems. In here there's a scabbard, so you can put your rifle butt into here, rifle underneath here. I've carried the rifle like that a couple of occasions and that's worked quite well. I prefer having the rifle a little bit closer, more like the Everly stock ones perhaps, where there's a scabbard, but it's probably achievable in this, but you've got to muck around with it a little bit. There's a couple of little magnetic closures on here, and they close down just to hold that in there. And right on the bottom here there's another zip with a generous orange cover, waterproof cover. That's a good idea, and it also has a little strap which clips into this little toggle here. I like how they've done it in Rescue Orange too, because sometimes walking out of somewhere, if it's bad weather, it's usually low light, and having something else that you're not going to get shot in the back's a good idea. A couple of wee compression straps in the base here, where you could put perhaps a bedroll or something else along the base. To be honest with you, if you don't get everything into 85 litres, you probably need to have a look at your gear. But anyway, on the side here there's more compression straps and a side bag enough for a full-size spotting scope. That's a Leupold Alpine if you're wanting to sort of compare sizes, and a small tripod. There's neoprene in here to sort of give your spotting scope or your camera gear, whatever's in there, a little bit of protection for what's in your pack. And then there's a couple of heavy duty, just a zip, and a couple of, this is like a high denier material. That's pretty substantial, this outside material. On the side, of course, there's another compression strap and somewhere to put your drink bottle or gloves or whatever you're going to put into the side of that. Perhaps a tent might fit in there quite well as well. Although, on the opposite side, there's another pocket, and this pocket will take a full one-man tent in there. So it's a Macback Solo, Solo Light, I think is the name of it. Either which way, it fits beautifully in the side there, almost like it was designed for it. And of course on this side there's also another elasticated mesh. Don't know how long this material will last. It doesn't perhaps feel as durable as some of the rest of it, but it's just going to be for placing stuff in there anyway, so it's probably less of an issue. The base has the heavy duty Cordura coming around it, so that's okay. This is where the strap came off, the bottom compression strap, so I'll have to try and figure a way of getting that back on, because I don't want to bother Bushbuck again for another replacement. Sometimes it's better to have a pack where you've tested all the bits, and you know at least that if that's the only thing that came off, then you might be all sweet. I can put that back on myself. Right, if we now have a look at the back of the pack, we can see this is the piece that came off on the first pack, where the hydration bladder came through. Just a little bit of poor stitching in there. I've actually gone over it with my commercial sewing machine, which is another reason I'm not going to send it back. They probably wouldn't take it back if they'd seen that I'd done some running repairs on it. There's a grab handle here for somewhere to hang your pack. Another couple of clips in here for when you change the pack over to a different configuration. Very well padded straps on the pack. Very comfortable to carry. Absolutely no complaints at all with that. Little sort of daisy webbing or a daisy chain on here for clipping something into. Quite good for clipping your PLB, or I think they've got a bino system which clips into this, so you can have it up or down on your back. They've also quite cleverly used a high density rubberized material through here, just to have a little bit of something for your rifle to grab a hold of, I presume. although it's kind of it's taken away from by this because it tends to slip over the thing, but it's better than nothing, and it is a good idea. Wish more packs would do that. Moving down to the sternum strap, good adjustable sternum strap with plenty of room for bigger chests, and then the normal sort of configuration of a keeper for your drink bladder that comes out of here and routes through here, and then the normal adjustments for your back size and length. This here is very much like the Everly stock system, which basically has a set of molly webbing in here. You just poke it through, move it up to the height that you want it to, and then you can kind of move the whole harness up or down. Lots of adjustment in there from the smaller individuals to if you're 6.5 feet tall, you'd be probably sweet. Good, nice soft waist belt down here, right around to the sides. Good length too, doesn't come too far back. Some packs don't put their side straps out in the padding too, and you end up with pain over the end of your iliac crest, which is a little bit less than ideal. And then finally we've got a pocket either side here, which is just about the right size for a packet of or for a single strip of 308 cartridges, and any gloves or whatever you wanted. So that's on both sides. There's a hole which goes through here right through to the other side. Again, you could poke something into there if you wanted to, just to hold it. And then the waist strap itself, the waist belt, it's quite clever. A lot of adjustment again if you're a big bloke, and these ones adjust from the outside in, which is a lot easier when you're on the move than trying to do it from the centre outwards. I think that's a much better system than some packs. Okay, so on the inside we've got a few clever things too. But as you can see, it swallows an enormous amount of gear. So on the inside here we can see that there are two bladder retention clips and somewhere to put your bladders into. There's also on the inside here is a divider between the top and the bottom compartments. You can unzip that so you can have a pack which goes all the way through, which is very useful. So here's our divider in here, and you can just zip that out to put everything back in as a single compartment. I don't think there's anything else in there that's of particular interest. We can also take the main compartment of the pack, take it off, and you can use it as a meat carrying frame. So I'll just speed this section up so that we can get through it. So here's your harness, here's your meat shelf, so you can put a couple of legs of meat in there or a head or whatever, tighten it up, back onto the meat. Let's say that this is our parcel of meat. So everything's kind of nicely contained within there. Now they have put that two of the straps come over, and you can clip that, tie it and hold that in there. There's another one up here and another one here, and they will clip together if you've got legs coming up this way to tie down onto it. So that works quite well. There's a couple of straps here which might actually come, if you're lucky. No, they don't quite. There's actually a couple of clips in here that you might be able to use this way as well. So put that there, put that there, put this fiscal clip over here, pull down, and you can put the pack over the top of that like this, and then you can clip the pack in as well, so you have your gear on top of the pack and behind the, keeping the meat as close as you can to your back. This would be quite useful with a small day pack. If you had a small pack in here, you could just pop the pack inside here, or even a waterproof bag, put it back in, cinch it up, and you could use that as a day pack quite easily with next to no, additional weight carry. I'll put it all back together again and we'll have a final bit of a wrap up. Right, as you might be able to tell from the position of the sun, that took a little bit longer than I expected. Sun's dropped down a little bit, so sorry about that. Anyway, we've got it back together again now, and the important things when you put the harness back on this piece here, the top of the solid frame has to pop up into here, and then that is what the main compartment sits on. So here and here they sit on these two little horns, and that gives it its support. In the base there's two little straps down here and here which clip in, and you kind of pull them in. That pulls the base back in as well. And then once you put the side straps on, once you put these side straps here back on and cinch it all down, it's quite rigid. A little bit of movement in it, but I haven't noticed it being too bad when it's on your back. So, rounding up or finishing off with this, I think that for its price point it's a lot of pack. However, don't expect it to be the same quality as you'd get from some of the other manufacturers who are maybe out of the United States, but also will cost 2 or 3 or 4 times the amount. The material that it's made out of, it's good, it's not noisy, it's moderately well made in terms of the straps. The design is quite complex, but I like the side pockets, I like the dimensions of the pack. It's a very comfortable pack to wear. The camo is very good for New Zealand conditions, as you can kind of tell here. You could use it in bush, or you could use it in the high country and have no problems. There's lots of nice little design features as well with it. It's, for money, it's a jolly good pack. I would have to recommend it and say, yep, if you're wanting a pack that's going to be used every now and again for hunts, it might be 3 or 4 days. If you're away for a month in Mongolia or something, you might want to spend a bit more money on a different pack just to have that reliability. But for what we do here, for the price point, jolly good value really. So yeah, well done Bushbuck. Good pack. A few wee things that could be changed on it. Just stick us some tabs here so we can pull this down here a little bit easier. That would have been a really easy thing to do, and I don't know why there's not a couple of little tabs on there, but yeah, that's a small thing. Yeah, any questions, ask it in the comments below, and please subscribe and like if you would be so kind. Anyway, I'm going to get off this hill before we leave the sun, and it's going to get quite cold, because this afternoon I think it got up to 2 degrees, and this shirt is not the warmest. Anyway, we'll catch you up next time. All the best.